I like CDs. Yep, here's another one of those show off your collection videos like that old one with my records, but this time we're doing it with my CDs, and this is yeah, so today I will be showing off my little CD collection that I've accumulated over the years. Some of these are mine, some of these I've bought in, and others of them I've stolen from my father's collection because he doesn't really use them anymore, and yeah, they're mine now. By de facto, not de jure. Now, let's get started. Let us get started. First of all, let's start with one of my first CDs I've ever gotten. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Getaway. You know, I really liked the Red Hot Chili Peppers when I got this Christmas, like a couple, 3-4 years ago. I was really into them chilies, and there's nothing better than having like the Getaway and Dark Necessities on in the background on like a nice winter day, just listening to yeah, it's really something. Next up, this is just a clear case with Warbringer's first debut album on it. I actually got this CD in their first debut. I bought their first album on vinyl at their show, and lo and behold, I got a CD of it alongside a poster, and it was crazy because so much value in that one thing. It was amazing, and I got a CD for it. I got a poster for it. Why don't more people do that? More people should do that, because there's nothing better than opening a newly printed vinyl and then, you know, like shaking it out, and then you like get like stickers, like coupons, and like patches. That's the best feeling. More bands should do that. Fill it with like goodie bags and whatnot. All right. Next up, System of a Down, Toxicity, a classic of their discography, the most widely known album in their discography. I bought this at a record fair from a very hippie, long-haired old man. It's kind of scary. He kind of had the atmosphere of Charles Manson about him. He sold it as a good price, so I'm not complaining. He might have killed some people, who knows? But he has a right deal for this wonderful album. Next up, the most recent one I've actually purchased, Dio's Holy Diver. Now, I have been really into Dio recently. I just love his voice. I love him. So sucks. It's sad that he died so early, because honestly, he was like a philosopher in our time, and his music is so good. Like, you know, everyone knows Holy Diver and Shadow in the Dark, but there are some other songs on here that not many people know, like Don't Talk to Strangers, Straight Through the Heart, especially Stand Up and Shout. That is a great opener on a great album. I love Dio. Yes, here is one I took from my dad, Van Halen's self-titled album, Van Halen 1. Now, I really like Van Halen, especially Van Halen 1, which is their best album, Fight Me. It is their best album, and kind of sucks when you peak too early, but when they peaked, it was real good. Alright, now, next up, Gojira. It's not racist, that's how the Japanese pronounce it. And these guys are French, so it's like... I'm playing. So, yeah, Gojira, I've not listened to this CD in a while, and now that I am looking back, now that I am thinking on it, this is a right banger, you know. Especially this album. I mean, course, there's Two Magma and Sirius, but people kind of sleep on L'Enfant Sauvage. I still don't know how to pronounce L'Enfant Sauvage? L'Enfant Sauvage? I don't know French. I failed French 4. Yeah, that was the only class I've ever failed in my entire academic career. Grade 4 French. Other than that, I love French bands. I'm not holding a grudge at my terrible French skills. But yeah, I love French bands, and Gojira is like the big one. They're like Kraftwerk. Although in this case, it would be more Rammstein. They're the Rammstein of France, in that they're the most widely known French metal band. Next up, one of many of my dad's Rush albums. I really want to get into Rush, but I just haven't found a time. Another Rush album. I haven't found the time to really get into it, and I feel like for me to get into Rush, I can't just like listen to one song. I listen to many just through osmosis through my dad because he's a massive Rush fan, but I need to really sit down and listen to these albums. But I don't know. I never end up doing it, and I should do that. Next up, Police. 2 albums by the Police. You know, everyone likes... Well, I'm not saying everyone likes the Police, but Police are a very iconic band back in the day. The good old days, one might even say. I mean, these 2 albums... This one is upside down. These 2 albums... No. Yeah, these 2 albums have some of their biggest hits. You know, there's Every Breath You Take, Roxanne... Roxanne. But yeah... I really like some Police songs I know, like most people, and I really do like those Police songs, so that's why I kind of yoinked this from my dad's collection. Because I've never seen my dad listen to CDs, so I'm thinking like, I'm just gonna take these 2 for later use. But I only picked the ones I really am interested in, and Police I am also very interested in. Next up, Celtic Frost. It's not Celtic Frost, I'm not American, but it's Celtic Frost. Extreme metal from Switzerland. And what's crazy is that I have not heard of any other Swiss band other than Celtic Frost, which might be good for Switzerland, because Celtic Frost is great. I have their debut EP, Morbid Tales, which is my personal favorite, and their more experimental, I believe, 2nd or 3rd studio album, Into the Pandemonium. I like Morbid Tales, it's great, but man, Into the Pandemonium has like the nicest CD like cover and like art style compared to anything else. It's delectable. And I love Celtic Frost. I'm trying to bolster up more Celtic Frost CDs, but they're a bit hard to come by and a bit expensive, so the search continues. Alright, the big Rush album, which I need to still listen to, but I even though I hadn't listened to much Rush, I can love what they represent. I can love their musicianship, and I can love Neil Peart. Rest in peace, my bud. I can appreciate what I have not experienced. That's deep. But yeah, Rush. Gotta love them. Mr. Paul McCartney, the British man, the lead singer of the Beatles. But yeah, Paul McCartney, solo career is almost just as good as the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles are iconic, but Paul McCartney's solo career gets up there too. I mean, is it sad that my first experience with Paul McCartney's solo career is Shrek 3? You know, the scene where the frog's dying and it's like, live and let die, boom, boom. That's my first interaction with Paul McCartney's solo career. And honestly, I gotta say, wonderful first impression. Hold up, I didn't know Paul McCartney did Sea Moon. My respect for the man has risen. Queen, greatest hits. I don't even need to explain why I have that. Queen's great. Eagles. They're the Eagles. Kiss. I'm just gonna put that away. Def Leppard. I really like Def Leppard. They're one of the more poppy. They're not even. Some people consider them metal. They're more hard rock, and they're very popular in the 80s. But that doesn't. Just because it's not metal doesn't mean I can't love them. You know, I can like things too, other than metal. And Def Leppard is like on that border of metal and non-metal. They are kind of metal. Now I think about it. And yeah, I love Def Leppard. Triumph, my dad's second favorite band. Yeah, that's why I also have a lot of Triumph CDs in here, because my dad also has a lot of Triumph CDs. And of course, Just a Game, that's their big album everyone knows. But there's a lot of very iconic songs from a very iconic band. What should we go for? Let's go for Big Boys. Right here I have my Tool CD collection. I got 10,000 Days, Lateralis, the best one. Well, I do really like Anima. But yeah, Lateralis is considered the best one, and for obvious reasons. I love Tool. And also, Anima's cover. Ooh. You can't see it because of the light, but it's very nice. I do like, and of course, Until First. This is the one less people know about, but it does have Sober, which is one of their best songs, and Prison Sex, which is also one of their best songs, as well as... I'm just remembering how many good songs Tool has. Yeah, I have all the Tool albums, other than their most recent one. I've been meaning to get it, but every time I go to the record store, they either don't have it or it's way too expensive. Looking forward to getting that eventually, once I finally find both the time, the actual CD, and the money. Up here, my dad, this is my favorite thing from my dad's collection is his big, thick boy CDs of Pink Floyd's albums, because of course Pink Floyd has the most long CDs, but yeah, I love Pink Floyd. I mean, we got the classics. We got Delicate Sound of Thunder, The Wall, the one everyone knows. Personally, I know this might be a bit mainstream, but my favorite Pink Floyd song is Money, closely tied with Comfortably Numb. I know it's very, very popular, but it's for a good reason. I'm not always the hipster wannabe that I usually am, you know. Such a meaty Pink Floyd case for pulses. Like, oh, look at that artwork. That's why you buy. That's the reason you buy a Pink Floyd CD right there. And of course, I put them together because I can't put them in my CD holder because they're thick boys and they don't fit anywhere. So they got their own little pile along with Tool because, well, I understand what they were going for with the 10,000 Days thing, but like, I can't put this in my CD rack. It doesn't fit anywhere. It's a good design, but really, really annoying when you want to put all your Tool CDs next to each other. Now for the last big pile. First up, we got my small little local bands collection, of which I only have 2 CDs. I need to go to more shows, but they're all closed on account of the good old-fashioned demonetization virus. Yay. So what I got here is I got WMD, Lethal Revenge. I didn't, when I saw them live, I didn't buy their CD, but I did find it at a local record store. I did find it there, so that's where I bought this. Very cheap and a very clean cover, I gotta say. You don't see much white covers out there, and honestly, there should be more. And second, Hazard. I went to their CD release party for this, so of course I'm going to buy the CD. And yeah, of course, their previous CD was, honestly, in my opinion, better than this one, but this one is still very good. And I would recommend Hazard. Not many people outside of my city know about them. Same thing with WMD, they're also pretty good. Next up, I believe, yep, this is my Mastodon CD collection. I love Mastodon. So what I got so far is their latest album, Emperor of Sand. A bit more poppy, but it's still Mastodon. It's still great. I got Blood Mountain. I don't remember if it's the one before or after Oblivion, but this is kind of a middle of the pack that most people forget about. But it does have Crystal Skull and Capillarian Crest, which are some of their best songs. So people shouldn't sleep on this one. Leviathan, their best album. Well, I guess it would, but it also ties with Remission. I was thinking Relapse, but that's a record label. But yeah, their first two albums are their best ones. This is so heavy and industrial, and this a bit more proggy, but still really heavy. And they're just matches made in heaven. Yeah, I love Mastodon. Next up, the most underrated Megadeth album. Well, I mean, it's the most. I'll say it's the most underrated. Cryptic Writings. Not a lot of people listen to this one, which is sad because some of the songs are a bit more poppy. I'm going to admit it, but they're just so good. I love this CD. I play it on all the time. I have so much love for the CD. I can't explain it. It's not well known. It's not well played. Not many places. I've never heard these songs ever be played in a live performance by Megadeth, and I've never seen any place, like any store, play Megadeth. Cryptic Writings. Granted, not many stores play Megadeth to begin with, but I've just never heard it. But and people are sleeping on it. You can't sleep on Cryptic Writings. It's so good. It's middle of the rack. Megadeth discography CDs are very hard to come by. That's why I copped this as first, right when I saw it, because it's so hard to find these. And yeah. Oh, another of my first ever CDs, Power Slave, Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden's always a classic. I saw them live. They were great. I mean, Iron Maiden was popular then, and Iron Maiden is popular now for the same reason that most things are popular, because it's good. And who doesn't love Iron Maiden, especially Power Slave, one of their best albums. Next up is my all of the good Guns N' Roses CDs. These three. Their very iconic debut, and then the two Use Your Illusions. Those are the good Guns N' Roses, and I'm not that big a Guns N' Roses fan. I only really bought it because these were at a garage sale and they were like $1 each, so I said, oh, I gotta complete the first three sets, and then I bought this. I'm not that big a Guns N' Roses fan, but I bought it because it's good to have in your collection. Not all of their songs are great, but some of them are pretty good, and that is why I bought them. Alright, next up, another collection I'm trying to complete, my Talking Heads collection, of which I only have 2 CDs. I really want to buy more, but I just can't find them at reasonable prices. My first one was True Stories, which honestly, not that good. I'm sorry, Talking Heads, but just True Stories isn't the best. And then one of their best ones, Remain in Light. Although Remain in Light is the most widely accepted best Talking Heads album, I'm more of a Speaking in Tongues kind of person, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I really like Speaking in Tongues. I even really like Little Creatures. That's also a pretty good one. But yeah, I used to not actually like this, but when I first listened to it, I did not see the appeal of Remain in Light. But now that I've listened to it like over and over, I finally get it. I finally get why it's so loved, and I'm glad I bought it. Alright, next up, only the most required CD to own for every Canadian, Tragically Hip. Wearing a Tragically Hip t-shirt right now, it's practically mandatory for every Canadian to own either a Tragically Hip CD or shirt. It's mandatory. The government comes in every month to check to make sure you have one of those. If you don't, you're out. straight to PP Island. You ain't coming back. That's a concentration camp for the worst of Canadians. They got hockey dodgers, they got tragically hip deniers, and of course they got the Rush haters. They are all sent straight to PP Island, where they are not allowed to leave because they would pollute the rest of their Canadians with their terrible, terrible Canadianness. So yeah, get your tragically hip CDs, all the Canadians out there. Don't be sent to PP Island. It's not worth it. So, on a serious note, Tragically Hip is basically the background music of my life. As far as I can remember, there has been at least one Tragically Hip song in the background of just anywhere. It's crazy. I just know the lyrics of so many of them, and I don't know why, because it's just in my cultural brain. It's just in there. It's stuck there. It won't leave. And I don't want it to leave. They are a great tenant, and they make me feel happy things. Cheap Trick Greatest Hits. This is another one of my dad's. I don't know why he keeps buying so many Greatest Hits CDs, but I mean, I'm not complaining. Cheap Trick is a pretty good band. I mean, they got, I can't name a Cheap Trick song. I do know some of them, I just can't name them, and the ones I'm thinking in my brain right now, they are pretty good. I'll play it in the background and make my video copyrighted by 10,000 different companies. So yeah, Cheap Trick. Oh yeah. It's Ozzy Osbourne. The man, the myth, the legend. Who doesn't love Ozzy Osbourne? Even Gen Zoomers like me, who aren't metalheads, know about Ozzy Osbourne because of his thing with Post Malone. But Ozzy Osbourne is I was going to say national treasure, but he's British, so no, he's not my national treasure. He's Britain's national treasure because everyone loves him. Well, to be honest, this is one of his less good albums, Osmosis. It's not exactly his best work. I wish I had his best work, but you know, poor. So this is what I got, and honestly, I do it for Ozzy. I do it for him. U2 Achtung Baby. What even is U2? Everyone knows U2. Well, everyone of my age knows U2 from that whole iPhone thing. But what even is U2? What even is U2? Who is U2? Why is U2? What even are they? I don't know. They're such an enigma. I know so little about U2, but I know they exist. I think I'm supposed to know what U2 is, but I don't, and I don't know why. Going through an existential crisis right now. Anyways. Aha! When I was first collecting CDs, okay, I was really into Franz Ferdinand. I was so into Franz Ferdinand. I just loved their stuff so much. I don't even know, I was gonna say I don't even know where I heard about them from, but now I remember JoJo. It's always JoJo. But yeah, when I got this, I played these all night long, and they were my life back in freshman year of high school, grade 10. They were my life. I loved Franz Ferdinand so much, and alt pop rocky music. This was so popular back when they came out in like 2005 and 4. It was just so alive, and I missed those times, despite the fact I wasn't really conscious. Well, I don't really remember those times, but I miss them. Anyways, Franz Ferdinand, and the last one. Oh, it's Pink Floyd's Echoes. I didn't realize that was down there. You're supposed to be with the Pink Floyd pile, you silly goose. But yeah, Echoes, same thing with Pink Floyd. Revolutionary, wonderful, you know. But yeah, I love Pink Floyd. I love prog music. I like most music, to be honest. Well, except for rap. But I'm trying to work on that. So yeah, that was my CD collection. I kind of went through it a bit faster than my vinyl collection, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you might want to check any of these things out. I've just strewn them about on the floor. I've thrown them. I've made a mess. I've just thrown them to the floor. I will pick them up after I finish recording this. But yeah, like, subscribe, favorite, 5-star even. Ooh. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm old and gold. And yeah, see you later. I get the feel. Why am I talking to a camera? Those are questions I ask every day.